Hello, YouTube community. I'm been getting over a cold lately. So if I sound like I'm hacking a lung, I'm not. I'm just clearing my throat. So my uncle and I watched an HBO documentary. It was a two-parter, and it was really good. I enjoy documentaries next to indie films. I put that somewhere on my YouTube page before because indie films tell a story. Basically, most of all Woody Allen's films that you see now are all independent films because they don't fit the mainstream target audience, if you know what I mean. Well, his films never hit the mainstream target audience ever. They were all independent films in all actuality. But, so this documentary my uncle and I watched was called Sinatra, All or Nothing at All. And it was a two-parter of Frank Sinatra telling his life story to the viewer, but it was taking all clips from interviews and all that he was asked about his life and all that. So it was really good. It was a really good documentary. It's not just Frank Sinatra telling his story. It's his friends. It's the voices of his friends. It has the voice of his first wife, the first Nancy Sinatra Sr., Nancy Sinatra Jr.'s mother. But, and she's still alive. She's 97. She is 97 and she's still alive. And, of course, Mia Farrow gave her insight about Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra, this guy, he was not only a class act in the entertainment world, but this guy was a class act in human life. He called bigotry a disease. He said bigotry has no use in our society because we should not turn down any man, woman, or child because their skin color is black. And that's exactly what he said in an interview with Walter Cronkite. And this just shows how awesome Frank Sinatra was. And when he helped get votes for John Kennedy, and it was no surprise that he was involved with people from the mafia. He wasn't really involved in the mafia, let me just clear that, but he knew people and he was friends with them since young times in Hoboken, New Jersey. So, in a way, he was slightly involved with them, but not really. But they did do a lot of favors for him, and especially to get votes for John F. Kennedy in certain swing states. But after a while, Bobby Kennedy said that to tell Frank Sinatra, and he told us to Joey Bishop, that Jack feels uncomfortable staying with him in this little White House with him in California. He's going to stay with Bing Crosby. And that pissed Sinatra off to high heavens. And so Sinatra planned to get back at the Kennedys politically, not by changing his registration. He was a lifelong Democrat. He was a lifelong liberal Democrat. But he endorsed two Republican candidates, Richard Nixon on his re-election, which I don't see what he found in Richard Nixon, but anyway, and Ronald Reagan. So he hit the Kennedys in the balls with politics, and in such an ingenious way that it's like, that is just so cool how he got revenge at them politically by endorsing the opposite candidate. And don't get me wrong, he didn't change his registration. He said that himself. He didn't change his registration. He just wanted to hit them back with politics. And he said something which I think we all live by in the standard. If we are, it doesn't matter what registration we are, but if we think, but if I'm since I'm a Democrat, and if I think the Republican candidate is better in this presidential election, sure, I'll vote for him. Or her, depending on who's running. But, true, if the Republican candidate's bad, I'll vote for the Democrat, for him or her, whoever is running. And exactly, I think Frank Sinatra set the standard for celebrities in politics. I could go on and on about Frank Sinatra, but I don't want to give everything away, but my God, it is a fantastic documentary. It is going to be nominated. Hear me out. It's going to be nominated for Best Documentary, and HBO is going to get the nomination, and it was really well put together. Like I said, there was no other entertainer like him during his time. Like, there was no other entertainer like Elvis Presley during his time. Sinatra and Elvis are both have such legendary statuses. So does Michael Jackson. If you could put them on music royalty, those three are on top. Those three are on top. That's how fantastic they were as people and as musicians. So with this being said, I hope you can watch it on HBO On Demand because it is a really great documentary.